Just like that, we're catching another swarm. Well, hey there everyone, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. It seems like right now I'm just doing swarms. Crazy, crazy. It's October 14th. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. Well, another day, just happening to be out here doing something, this time cutting grass. And I go over here, I'm making my rounds by this trailer of bees that were almost ready to move to a new location. And I see a swarm on top of them, because there's usually a lot of activity around them because there's so many in one spot. But all of a sudden I just saw a big bundle of bees swirling, and it looked like a swarm. So I went out and got my two blades, mower blades, and tanged them. Stopped the mower, started tanging them. I've never been a great believer in tanging, but I know Mr. Ed is, and he's done it, and I've seen him do it on video, and it worked. And I actually did it down there one time, a couple years back, 3 years or so ago, and I got them to go back to a colony, like to go back to their box. So, you know, kind of believed in it. But then I did that itty bitty little half of a side of a frame. Sorry about the sun there. And it worked last week. So I grabbed them and did it again. And sure enough, they had just come off. They had started moving, looked like, because they were leaving the tree. I went to tanging, they stopped. I got the right frequency, it felt like. I think that's something to do with it. They went back and landed back in this spot, and I'll show them to you real quick. Let me get my veil on because it's right on top of all these hives. And I was tanging as I was tanging. I didn't have time to go get the camera and show me tanging. I had to do it right then, right there, because they were moving off the branch. And I started getting kind of lit up a little bit. So I need to put my veil on, and I'm right over top of these. This one is actually a decent swarm as far as size. When I say decent, I'm talking a very relative term. Decent meaning it's bigger than that last one was. I don't know, guys. It's something's weird going on this year for sure. I've never worried about swarming, and maybe I've just missed them. Ooh, because I'm always going to work, and I'm never home during the days like this now. But I've never worried about swarms this time of year. It's just not something I've ever been concerned with. Bees usually require a lot of good nutrition. The goldenrod is flowing, but I don't know how well it's flowing. There was some nectar in some colonies I had to go through a couple of days ago. Nothing major though. And but everybody's talking about these small swarms they're catching. I mean, there's people catching swarms in traps and everything that they left up. I mean, I've talked to, see, 1, 2, Randy. Randy's caught 2. And then Steve caught 1 at the meeting last night. I was talking. Kent Williams from Louisiana has caught a couple. I mean, I've caught one that I don't even know if it's a swarm. I really think a lot of times these are absconds, but this is definitely a swarm because it's above all these colonies. They're not absconding. That last one I think was an abscond from the colony that was being robbed. Whatever was left of them. So I don't know. It's just weird. So let me get this ladder and let's get up there and get them out of there real quick before they go again. Something else I've always noticed about summer swarms, and I don't know about these fall swarms, is they're a little meaner. They're not really always as docile. Sometimes they are. They seem to be a little feistier sometimes. So that's one thing to consider. I don't have my jacket on, but I am going to put a veil on. That's just been my experience. All right, let's see if we can take the camera up this time. See how little this thing is. We can get right to it though. And I'm not gonna look for queens or anything. I'm gonna suck them up. So I got my remote, cut the vac on. So my remote turns my vac on from this switch. I will look as I suck them up. Can turn this down a little bit. Oh yeah, I turned it down some. Wow. A lot of times she'll be up toward the center near the branches when I suck them off these trees. It's actually it's a lot better than that other one we caught. Wow, it's just coming in clumps. It's probably too blurry. I probably had you too close. I was trying to do it with one hand and control it, but oh, there's a queen right there, I think. Is that her? Nope, 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 nope. That looks like a worker, never mind. Ooh. I'm not worried really about it. It would be cool to see her as you're bringing them in, but I don't expect it. Sorry about the camera work. I'm up on the top of this ladder. I'm trying to suck bees up, stay steady, get the shot, do it all at one time without falling off the ladder. I need to have like a good time Charlie cameraman for stuff like Mr. Ed has. And what I'll do is I'll let it run and let the scent of the bees fly out of the vacuum like I did on the last one. Alright, let's see. Let's get the other hand here. I had to give it a little more power to get them off here without you know, crushing them on the branch. So turn it up. That way I don't have to run it up against the branch as much, see? So everything vac sure is nice. I use the backpack straps. Works great for when you're on a ladder like this. But darn, where do these bees come from, you know? Now there's something else that happens in the fall a lot, and it's called a usurpation swarm, where they usurp colonies. They come from somewhere else. This one I think came from below because it was leaving and heading somewhere. But I've chased them all over the yard. They act differently, guys. They do. I read about them one time. And a usurpation swarm is going to usually take something over. And what they do is they go in with some of their workers and such, and they kill the queen, the existing queen, and they go in with their queen. Once she's dead, they utilize the bees a lot of times. Now, they act funny when they're in a tree. They'll go back to the tree they were on, they'll leave, they'll come back, they'll do things like that. Whoa, I got one on my arm. Get out of there. So they do some weird stuff. They act strange, and I chased one around the yard one time is what I suspect it was, just because of how they were acting and running all over the yard. But I don't know. I'm hoping I'm getting some decent footage because I'm just kind of holding the camera out here. Well, so what we do now is get as many off here, and the ones that are flying we can't really get. This veil's laying across my nose. If they wanted a shot now, they got it. They need to take advantage of it because I'm getting ready to fix that in just a second. All right. What I do now is these ones that are flying, I just let this vacuum vent, the exhaust vent. And a lot of times if there's a queen in there, which there should be, they'll come right to it. Gotta let it set for a little while. I'll put it right on top of this ladder. All right, well, we got the majority, so I'll suck up a few of these ones flying. All right, we're gonna come down. See, they've already gotten on top. So what I'll do, leave the vacuum on. They can't run out of here with the vacuum on, so we'll pull the hose. What I do like to do is all right, get some suction, then we just pull this hose, shut this, leave it run. I'm gonna turn it off real quick. I'm gonna pull the, I hope you could hear me with all that noise. I'm gonna pull the remote out now. I'm gonna turn this back on and get some air flowing. What I want is the air to suck through here and blow out of this exhaust, and these bees will come to it. They'll smell their queen and their colony. They're already smelling it. I'll stick it on top of the ladder. We'll get the rest off the tree. And I'll keep an eye out. There's a lot more going up there now. Going back to that branch. And if there's a pile of them up there, what I'll do is I'll hook the hose back in and jump up there and vacuum them up. Give them some time. Been about 5 minutes, had to go pull a little bit of comb out of the freezer and less on the branch, more around the vacuum now. And that's another thing about this time of year in swarms. I don't have equipment that's laying around ready to go. Like everything is either under wax crystals, and that needs to air. I've actually put some of those in within a few hours of taking them out from under the wax crystals, and I lost 2 queens doing that. 2 different colonies. The bees are getting it. Oh, I can smell a lot of goldenrod. That one was packed. Could that one have swarmed? I sure hope they made a queen, or, you know, going to make a queen. I sure hope that works out. Because that's, we'll find out. We'll know who's queenless. It's fall. We're done in these things. I got to pull some thirds off and move them to the singles, take the others and feed them back, but I don't know. All right, they're about off the branch. I'm going to lure them down now with the vacuum. I'm gonna let them sit just a little while, go see what happens. I can go look for some equipment. I pulled some frames out of the freezer to thaw, 2 of them. Don't need but about 3 frames for that thing. It'll go in a nuke instead of a 2-frame, like, well, it'd fit in a 2-frame too, but they're not gonna grow much. I'm not gonna start robbing brood. You know, like that one, I thought about putting brood, but I'm not gonna take brood from a, by the way, have you seen this one? They started laying immediately after. The next day after she was out of the cage, she started laying. But I went to look for brood, but why am I going? I don't want to rob brood. I just don't want to. I'm looking at these great colonies that are filling their, you know, the good ones that are filling up with brood, and probably need more feed. Why would I rob them? Let's see. There's the queen. She's got a little patch of brood. See, this isn't, there she is right there. This isn't worth taking resources and all. I mean, she's got a little bit of brood on that side, but it's not enough bees to even keep warm. I could cage her and try and combine her with something if I needed to, but I don't know who's queenless. That other one, junk. This time of year, they're either gone or they're not. You know, it's not worth it. It's not worth messing up good colonies. Just not worth it. So that thing is, I don't even know what to do with that. All right, we got all we're gonna get, I believe. I don't see any more really up there at all. See a bunch out here though. Like that aren't really coming and going that much. Still flying around, but there's a few on top. We're gonna be done. So I think this is her population. We normally suck them up, but I'm not gonna take time to hook up the hose. That's a little tiny itty bitty swarm. So we're gonna let them gather. Then I'm gonna take them over to a box. So I threw this veil on with my jacket. I will feel better opening them up too, because sometimes they don't like that vacuum. And I'm gonna tell you, these bees, I'm sitting here operating right with all, ouch. I'm sitting here operating with all these bees, and I got something on my hand. I'm gonna tell you now, they are after my hand. Operating in front of all these bees, they don't like it. Ow, darn it. So let's get the ladder out of here, and I'll get back to you. All right, let's walk back out and see what we got. And see where I started cutting this grass. And when I go by them and see bees flying, you can't, you know, I wanted to turn my head and not look, but you can't. Because this is so difficult to deal with. See, they found their home. So now we're going to take them. All right, let's take them to the box. Put this off to the side. Lay this here for now. All right, well they're eating on the comb, but that could be robbers. So let's do this. Put a little smoke to them. Be great to find the queen in there. We're going to lay this right here like so. We're going to look for a queen. So last swarm I walked up and I said, well, I laid it by the box and said, let's just see if they go in. I came back like 20 minutes later and there was a few walking around and one was sure enough the queen. Have a cage ready actually would probably be smart, huh? And see if she's here in this bundle. I didn't look on here. Look down there, see if she went. Because I like to cage her and leave her in here a couple days. But you know, I don't know, they may stay. You don't always have to do that, but I do. Double check in the bottom, make sure she's not running around. Usually she'll be running and moving. She'll always be on the move. Unless she's in the cluster, then she'll hang tight. Oh, there she is, I see her. Oh, she went under the chicken wire, I just saw her. She's little, but she looks mated. She's right in there. I just saw her crawl under. If I spot her again, I'm gonna get her. They're flying a lot now. The queen, I bet she's up here now. Let's get a little lemongrass in here. I found an old sticky bottle of Swarm Commander. It's been in here forever. Oh, there's a queen. Got her. She had crawled out. Did y'all see her crawling out? Wow. Thank you, Lord. There she is. There she is. Thank you, Jesus, as Mr. Ed would say. Thank you, Lord. She was over here on this box. She had crawled out and was over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick her between the frames. She was over here, folks. She had just come around here, was going up. That's old Trusty. So we got her, so we're good now. We're going to put her in this box. There's bees on the handle. Be careful when you grab them. I just went to find some lemongrass, found a thing of Swarm Commander. I don't know where that's just laying around, and stuck that in there. So let's stick her right here. Let's get the lid on. I'm trying to go on old Trusty. Well, folks, my job here is done. I'm gonna go finish cutting grass, let these bees settle into that box. There is a frame of some honey in there. Came off of one of those dead hives that had begun to get infested with beetles. And I froze it quick enough to save the comb, so she's got somewhere to lay. We got food in there. She's caged. Leave her caged for probably a day or two. That's it. See how they're acting and let her go. Some of those bees have pollen on them, and I guess they're just gonna go in there. I'm gonna leave them go. I'm gonna go cut grass. At this point, we just leave them alone. I don't know what to think now. It's one of those things where my mind's gonna be racing, going, all right, where'd they come from? Is that thing gonna requeen? Is it gonna be another dead out, you know? This, it obviously came from one of these colonies right under here. under the tree, so who knows what it could be, but all I can do is wait and see if everybody's got queens. Well, look, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I do appreciate all y'all watching. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this camera on these bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you. We'll see you on the next one.